Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Spacegate Sky Eagle. This is a remote-controlled helicopter which is quite fun as well as easy to fly. It features a gyroscope built in, so it's quite easy to hover as well as control. A bit easier than a drone, in fact, even a micro-drone, so if you're a beginner, this is something to take a closer look at. Of course, remote-controlled helicopters as toys, they aren't anything new. We've been seeing this for almost 8 years now since they first came out and hit the market. So they came out before the most popular consumer video drones that we have today, and way before the hype of drones, we had these remote-controlled helicopters. But hopefully this version here has been updated to include some of the newer technologies, has a larger battery, has that gyroscope for easier maneuvering, and so on and so forth. It sells on Amazon for under $35, which isn't too expensive, although this one also doesn't have a Wi-Fi camera, so you can't use it to record video. Otherwise, you can see the box here shows the actual helicopter on the inside, has a few different colors that you can customize it with. This is the blue version, and you can see here that it also has a remote, which you can use. Takes 6 AA batteries to operate, and then you can charge it using the remote, acts as a base to charge the helicopter. It takes about 30 minutes to completely charge the built-in battery on the helicopter. Afterwards, you can get about under 10 minutes of continuous flight before it runs out of battery. So decent there. You can see that basic info is presented on the back as well. And there are a few LED lights that tells you the status when it's flying as well as when it's charging. So let's cut open the box here and figure out what is inside. There's also the instruction manual, of course. So we see the first thing that we get here in this little compartment is actually the remote. We'll take a closer look at the remote in a moment. Here we have just the actual helicopter, and that's basically it. There are a series of adapters, as well as, in the case that you damage, let's say, one of the helicopter wings, propellers, you can swap it out for another one. There's access to the charging cable, which you plug in, and then plug into this end to charge, as well as a screwdriver. So for removing the screws in the back of the controller, and then inserting the AA batteries, which are unfortunately not included. So those are some of the parts. We'll take a closer look at this in a moment. There's also instruction manual, but unfortunately it's been kind of folded and crumpled up, but fully detailed, and tells you how to set things up and use it for the very first time. Here we have just the remote itself, made out of plastic. It feels a bit more durable than the other Spacegate micro drone, as well as the remote-controlled car, which goes on ceilings, that we also saw a few days ago. This one seems to be a bit better put together. There's infrared sensors on the top, LED lights, which tells you the charging and battery status, and then you can tune these to adjust if it's not calibrated correctly when it's flying left or right. There's also access to controls for directional pad, for speed, acceleration going up and down, and there's a dedicated power on-off switch. So pretty easy to set up as well. You can see you also have dedicated shoulder keys on the top, probably to also maneuver and adjust the settings. Down here we have access to the aforementioned battery slot, and otherwise that's the design of that part. And we have just the micro helicopter. So it is made out of plastic, so it's not aluminum or anything like that, but that's to help it fly for a longer period of time, so it's not as heavy when it's actually in the air and moving around. Otherwise, it has, what's kind of interesting about this model is these two propellers that are pointing downwards that allow it to fly up and accelerate upwards at a faster speed. It's not something you see in every single RC helicopter, and it kind of makes this look fairly unique. There's also a long antenna that allows you to receive a stronger reception, and there's also, you can see the back is, the actual casting part is made out of metal. So alright, so a full charge takes roughly 45 minutes, and there's two options. You can use a USB cable that's provided, or you can also use the controller, which takes 6 AA batteries. There's a latch on the bottom which you remove to pull out the proprietary charging cable and plug it onto the sides, and afterwards it's going to be charged. The USB accessory has a light on it, so it's going to light on actually when the charging process is done, as opposed to stop being on when it's fully charged. That's something to quickly note. Let's turn this on and do a quick demo of the flying experience. There's a few LEDs, as you can see, which strobe and change colors, which is pretty cool, especially under darker environments. Again, this is a pretty complicated helicopter if you ask me, because there's 3 of these micro propellers, and then there's 3 layers of separate blades and propellers. So turning things on, we're gonna kind of automatically. Alright guys, so that's been our quick video first look and impressions review of the Spacegate Sky Eagle remote control helicopter with gyroscope. Although it's a bit more complex and also includes some more modern touches found in larger drones throughout the years, at the same time it isn't the easiest drone to fly. I thought it would be coming from earlier helicopters and RC helicopters from maybe 5-6 years ago, but this one, for some reason, it's a bit more finicky, requires a bit more adjustment to completely train and get used to. Still, it's a fun toy to play around with, and you can check out more details in our official written review, which is coming out soon. This has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.